Welcome back to another episode of the TBS show. This is episode 3, and I know what you're thinking. You thought I quit? Thought I stopped? Thought I just left it all alone? Nah, I ain't do that. Not at all. I ain't do none of that. Because a couple weeks ago, if you remember, I sat behind this same very mic, and I told y'all I almost quit. Not the dramatic movie scene quit. Not throwing the mic through a window quit. Just tired. Mentally tired, creatively tired, spiritually tired. And I realized something. Sometimes you don't need to quit. Sometimes you just need to rest. And with that, I just want to say welcome back to the TBS show. And we are here and we are
powered by Riverside FM.
Yes, sir. On the place to do it, on the best place to do it. And that's what we doing. Like I said, we back. Yeah, give it up. Give it up. We back. Let's get into it. So, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the TBS show. I am your host, Shaq. It was raining outside yesterday. That's when I was supposed to record this, but today it's not raining, so it's all good. But got the coffee going, and life is lifing, but we back. Took about two and a half weeks. Took a minute off from podcasts, not because I stopped loving it, not because I stopped caring. I just needed to get my own mind back together. Cause sometimes we get so focused on producing, creating, and building, and checking views, checking analytics, refreshing notifications, making clips, that we forget that we human. We human, we regular people just like anybody else. So I had to unplug. I had to breathe. And honestly, I think it was one of the smartest decisions I've made all year, just to take a break. But just so you know, we got a word from our sponsor. And this episode right here is brought to you by Biggie King, home of the Triple Crown Bacon Royal Deluxe Supreme. At Biggie King, every burger comes with exactly 14 pickles, a level of confidence your ex said you didn't have. Biggie King, have it your name. But one more thing we want to get into is our mental check-in. So let's do our mental check-in, because I don't want this show to just be entertainment. I know it's entertaining. Trust me, I do. It's my show. It's me. I know it's entertaining. I know it's funny. We good. But we want to do a mental check-in for anybody out there who need it. And I want to be honest. So here's my question. Are you tired? Or are you finished? Because those are not the same thing. Because a lot of people quit things they actually love because they're exhausted. And exhaustion lies to you. Exhaustion will convince you that you're done. Exhaustion will convince you that your dream ain't working. Exhaustion will tell you that nobody cares. Exhaustion will tell you to walk away from things that still matter when really you just need to rest. That's where I was. I wasn't done podcasting. I was just overloaded. And that's a huge difference, man. So take a minute, take a little time, focus on that music, let the music breathe. This is my protection, by the way. One of my few things that I do. So just enjoy the music, let it breathe. Think about it though. How you doing today? How you feeling? How you doing physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally? How are you? And be honest. This is that time. This your moment to sit there and recap the stuff that's been bothering or hunkering you down, and just take a minute and just reflect on it. Because you never know. You might need to just take a rest. You might need to take a step back. You might need to step to the side and just see things. See it for what it is. So even if it's getting hard and it's getting a little rough, man, just take time to think about it. Take time for yourself. That's the main thing. Take time for yourself and the Lord. That's the main thing. Everything else will fall in line once you do those few things. Get in that Bible, get in the Word, read. That's what it's for. For them times when you ain't feeling it. That's what it's for. And with that, we're going to caveat into one of my funnest, not funnest, I can say funnest, might not be a word, but we're going to use it today. Is the Bible verse of the day, which is Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Simple, powerful, direct. Notice though, it don't say, come to me when you have everything figured out. And it don't say, come to me after you fix yourself. It says, come to me when you weary. Come when you carrying too much. Come when life feels heavy. That verse hit a little different the last couple weeks. And when I found it and I read it, it just really brought a whole bunch of things to light. So I'm going to give it to you one more time. Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Because sometimes we trying to carry things God never asked us to carry by ourselves. So when we do that, that's when things get a little rough. Because we think we got to figure it out. We think we can handle it. And in reality, we ain't. We ain't got to figure that. We ain't got to handle nothing like that. So, also bringing to you JBY Customs. It's one of my many hats that I have. Like, I have a custom apparel where I make clothes. I do design. I print designs, print custom clothes for customers, whoever need it, and that's JBY Customs, which stands for Just Be You. Because we speaking of purpose, and I've been spending a lot of time thinking about JBY Custom. I got away from it. I had my own little printer, and I still got it, but I stepped away from that. And like I said, during this time, I was able to come back and see, okay, well, if I just hunker down, get it time to the Lord that He need, He'll reciprocate. Bless me if I praise Him and worship Him. And not to take for granted the many talents and blessings that I do have. So that's what, I'm bringing that back to the forefront. I can't even talk today. Bringing it back to the forefront. JBY Customs. Just be you. At first, it was a little clothing idea. Then, it became something bigger. It started meaning something bigger. And I already did the footwork for it. Got it out there. So it ain't like it's just completely new, but it's not new. It might be new to some people, but the approach is new. Like I said, at first it was about clothing, and then it became something bigger. Because every design tells a story. Every shirt says something. Every conversation starts somewhere. And I really believe God can use creativity in a way to speak to people that words might not be able to, but they might identify with something that a shirt say, something like that. Because not everybody is called to stand behind the pulpit. Everybody ain't meant to preach. Everybody ain't meant to reach people through music. You got people who do it through comedy, clothing, podcasts like myself, and then through simply just being themselves. And maybe that's what That's what JBY is becoming, for me, not just a business, but a message, a reminder that God created you with a purpose, not to become nobody else, but to become who he created you to be. And so with that, we want to step over to our next sponsor, man. Sponsor number 2, man. Thank y'all for sponsoring us. Today's episode is also sponsored by K. Rogers, the grocery store where every checkout lane closes the moment you get in line. Need milk? We got 17 brands. Need one thing? You'll somehow spend $83. K. Rogers. Fresh for everyone except aisle 7. Nobody knows what's happening on aisle 7. But at K. Rogers, we don't care. But that's a word from our sponsor right there, man. But get back into the message, back into the show. I ain't want to just get on here and like dapping everybody's spirits. That's not what we on here for. But I want you to take that first piece of that segment to heart, that Bible verse. Go back and check that out. But we're gonna get into the good stuff. Cause we done, like I said, we done did all that. We've been gloomy. Let's get into a little fun. Cause I was thinking about it. Cause I was like, man, I ain't got nothing to talk about. But I do. I always got something to talk about. I just don't talk. So because life can't be all seriousness all the time, and we chilling, let's settle an argument that ruined probably a good handful of my friendships. And that's the top 5 Cartoon Network shows of all time. Cause my top 5 Cartoon Network shows, it's gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be everywhere. And if your list different, that's cool. You ain't entitled to your wrong opinion. Just know my top 5, probably the best top 5 they're gonna be when it comes to this. Cause I'm heavy on it. So at number 5, y'all gonna argue with me. Y'all gonna try to fight me, but code name Kids Next Door. My number 5. You gotta understand what we was watching. These kids had military operations going on, secret bases, advanced technology. Somehow their biggest enemy was homework and adults. I think the main villain was dad or father, the little black thing that could pretty much destroy their whole operation in time to get rid of it. It was too legendary. Cause you got Nigel Uno, you got number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Man, come on, you can't beat that. Ain't no team you can put together beat that squad. Like if you really watch that show and got into it, you see all the secret agents, double agents. Once you hit a teenager, you can't be in the Kids Next Door. You become their enemy because you're a teenager. But they had double agents. That was Kids Next Door still. But they didn't decommission. So they went on undercover with the teenage. Man, you just had, that's just that one. All right, number 4, it's kind of a new one. It surprised me that I'm actually putting this one on here, but because I watched it and I actually sat through and watched like all the seasons, it's actually a pretty good show. But number 4 is The Amazing World of Gumball. That was a little different because it was a mix of some of everything. None of the characters made sense. None of the continuity. The continuity made sense. It was just all of it, all around. The stuff that they were doing in that show was crazy. Because that show had to be written by people who looked at reality and said, what if none of this made sense? And they made a show and it worked. Every single episode worked. It was something different every time. They never did like the same thing twice. Even had like a little anime one when the mama was fighting the cloud mom. I can't think of names right now because I'm doing this. But if I didn't, when they was going Super Saiyan and found out they was trained in the dojo and was, man, that was cool. That was one of the dopest episodes of. All right, number 3. Fight your mama about this one. Don't fight me. Teen Titans, the OG one. Teen Titans, the OG one. The original one. The original, not Teen Titan Go. Now, I like Teen Titan Go. That's up there. That's pretty high for me, but the original Teen Titans, not the new one. The original, the one that had good action. They were throwing good hands, comedy, emotion in there. Somehow gave half us childhood trust issues through Raven, because that Raven storyline was crazy, man. And then the fact they had that one episode where Robin was fighting himself because he thought he was fighting Slade, but he was fighting himself the whole time. That's how bad that man had Robin messed up. Slade had that man fighting himself. He was beating the crap out of himself. That's what I'm talking about. You don't get no shows that go into deep character development like that one did. But then we got Teen Titans Go. I didn't like it at first until I started watching it. It's actually pretty cool because they had way more Easter eggs than I'm a big Easter egg guy, so it had way more Easter eggs about DC than what I thought, and it was good. Oh, we got another sponsor just came in. Hold on 1 second. Clap it up, clap it up. Just a little quick break, man, because this segment is sponsored by Planet Fitness-ish. The gym where everybody starts a membership in January and disappears by February. Planet Fitness-ish. Judgment-free. Commitment optional. It's up to you. But back to my top 5, man. Number 2. I'm going to get some slack because I know what I should have is number 2. But I stick with my guns and I like my shows. And Dexter's Laboratory belong at number 2. Argue with whoever you want to argue with. Don't try to convince me otherwise. If I didn't have Dexter's Laboratory right here, honestly, it probably would be Samurai Jack. Honestly, it probably would be Samurai Jack. But because I stick with my guns, and I like Dexter's Laboratory because he was a smart guy. He taught us that, being smart don't mean things won't explode. In fact, it means it probably will. He had that super cool monkey that was a superhero during the off time. Then he had they won the Avengers, but he had that little superhero team that was on his show. That was pretty cool. And then him and Dee Dee was probably the best part of that show. And Mandark. Yeah, that guy. That man funny. He made that show even better. All right, number 1. Finally. Number 1. Let's clap it up for number 1. Let's go on. Yeah, clap it up for number 1. Yeah, we in here. Number 1. Regular show. Yep. I said it. The regular show. I like it. I loved it. I loved it. That whole show, beginning to end, was dope. Even the bully in that show, because I was rewatching this, and what's his name? Muscle Man said that I only bully people that I hate and people that are my best friends. So if he didn't bully you, that means you ain't mean nothing to him, which was dope. That was dope. He was helping them out with something. They was there. That's when they was in the treehouse. They find his little nap spot. He had to save him. Regular show was dope. I don't want no debate, no discussion about it. And you can't convince me otherwise. But regular show is number 1 because somehow every episode started with 2 guys avoiding work and ended with the fate of the universe hanging on the balance. Every time, all they do is just trying to do a dodge work. Same thing we done. I don't feel like doing it today. I don't feel like doing it either. Well, shoot, we ain't got to go to work. Okay, that's them. That's what they did. That's what they did. And you know who else likes number 1? My mom. Yeah. If you know that show, you know where that come from. But, before we leave, that's it. That's my top 5 first. Let me just say that. But before we leave, I want to leave you with this. And if you're in a season where you feel stuck, don't automatically assume you done. Maybe you tired. Maybe you just need to rest. Maybe you need to step back long enough to hear yourself think. That's what these last couple weeks were for me. And honestly, I'm grateful for them because now I'm back. Not perfect, not fully figured out, but I'm present. And that's enough for me to continue to bring y'all these fun shows and these fun and insightful shows. That's what I'm here. That's enough of that. So again, thank y'all for listening to the TBS show. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with somebody, tell a friend, leave a review. If nobody told you today, keep going, keep building, keep trusting God. And remember, sometimes the strongest move you can make is taking the time to reset. I'm out. It's your boy Shaq. No more nicknames, man. It's just Shaq. That's me. That's just me. I'm just Shaq. That's it. Nobody else. None of the crazy nicknames no more. That's it. Leave it at that. But peace. Y'all be easy. God bless.